Ancient Egypt, 1330 BC, in the sun-drenched city of Amman. A queen vanishes from history as mysteriously as she appeared. She is Nefertiti, whose name means the beautiful one has come, and her disappearance will haunt archaeologists for millennia. For nearly 2 decades, she ruled beside Pharaoh Akhenaten, transforming Egypt's religious landscape and wielding power unprecedented for queens. But somewhere in the final years of Akhenaten's reign, Nefertiti disappears from royal records, her fate becoming ancient Egypt's greatest mystery. Her mummy has never been found. Her tomb remains undiscovered, yet her face is the most recognizable in Egyptian history. In 1912, a painted limestone bust revealed her beauty to the modern world, making her immortal through art rather than tomb. This is Nefertiti, the queen whose beauty made her unforgettable, but whose power made her dangerous and whose end remains unknown. Born around 1370 BC, Nefertiti's origins remain uncertain, though she likely came from Egyptian nobility rather than foreign royal lineage. Some scholars suggest she was the daughter of a powerful court official who would later become pharaoh after Tutankhamun's death. Her name translates to "a beautiful woman has come," suggesting she was recognized for her exceptional appearance from youth or birth. She married Amenhotep IV, who would become one of ancient Egypt's most controversial pharaohs, transforming Egyptian religion and moving the capital. The marriage likely occurred when Nefertiti was still young, cementing an alliance between powerful families in Thebes' royal court around 1350 BC. Within years, her husband declared a religious revolution that would shake Egypt to its foundations and transform their lives forever completely. Amenhotep IV changed his name to Akhenaten, meaning effective for Atan, abandoning Egypt's traditional polytheistic religion for monotheistic sun worship. He declared that Atan, the sun disk, was the only god, closing temples of Aman and stripping power from Egypt's priesthood. Nefertiti stood beside him in this radical transformation, her image appearing in religious art as frequently as Akhenaten's in unprecedented depiction. She bore 6 daughters within 10 years of marriage, though the lack of male heir would eventually threaten the dynasty's continuation. The couple moved Egypt's capital from Thebes to a new city called Akhetaten, modern-day Amarna, built to honor their sun god. Amarna's construction was rushed, its art revolutionary, depicting royal family in intimate domestic scenes never before shown in Egyptian artwork. Nefertiti was shown in positions of power equal to her husband, performing religious rituals and smiting enemies in poses traditionally reserved for pharaohs. She appears driving chariots, wearing Pharaoh's crown, and wielding symbols of royal authority that no queen before had ever been depicted holding. Some scholars believe she may have ruled as co-regent or even sole pharaoh during the final years of Akhenaten's reign. The Amarna period represented Egypt's most radical departure from tradition, and Nefertiti was its most visible symbol after Akhenaten himself. But religious revolution came at enormous costs as Egypt's economy suffered. Its military weakened and its empire began crumbling under neglect. Akhenaten's obsession with Aten worship meant he ignored foreign policy, allowing Egypt's territory in Syria and Palestine to slip away. The traditional priesthood, stripped of power and wealth, plotted against the royal couple, waiting for their opportunity to restore old gods. Common Egyptians, confused by the new religion, secretly continued worshipping traditional gods despite official prohibition and royal persecution of old beliefs. Around year 12 of Akhenaten's reign, Nefertiti disappears from official records, vanishing as mysteriously as if erased from history deliberately. Some believe she died, though no tomb or mummy has been found despite exhaustive searches by archaeologists seeking ancient Egypt's most famous queen. Others suggest she was banished or fell from power due to her failure to produce a male heir for succession purposes. A third theory proposes she continued ruling under a different name, possibly as the mysterious pharaoh Neferutan, who briefly ruled after Akhenaten. The most intriguing possibility is that Nefertiti became pharaoh herself, ruling as Smenkhare or Neferutan until Tutankhamun reached maturity enough. If true, she would have been one of only a handful of female pharaohs in Egyptian history, ruling in her own right. But her disappearance from records could also indicate political disgrace, suggesting she was removed from power by forces opposing Akhenaten's religious changes. When Akhenaten died around 1336 BC, his religious revolution died with him as Egypt moved to restore the traditional gods immediately. The young Tutankhamun, possibly Akhenaten's son, became pharaoh and quickly abandoned Amarna, returning the capital to Thebes and restoring Ammon worship. Akhenaten's name was systematically erased from monuments, his city abandoned, and his religious reforms obliterated from Egyptian memory deliberately and thoroughly. Nefertiti's images were likewise defaced, her cartouches destroyed, suggesting deliberate attempts to erase her from history alongside her controversial husband. The systematic destruction suggests powerful forces blamed her equally for the religious catastrophe that had nearly destroyed Egypt's traditional foundation. Yet despite attempts at erasure, Nefertiti's beauty proved impossible to completely eliminate from human memory and artistic record throughout millennia. In 1912, German archaeologist Ludwig Buschardt discovered a painted limestone bust of Nefertiti in Amarna, revealing her face to modern world. The bust, created by royal sculptor Thutmose around 1345 BC, shows a woman of extraordinary beauty wearing the distinctive flat-topped blue crown. Her symmetrical features, long neck, and serene expression became instantly iconic, making her face the most famous from ancient Egypt worldwide. The bust was taken to Germany, where it remains in Berlin's News Museum. Despite Egyptian demands for its return to Egypt, Nefertiti's face launched 1,000 theories about ancient beauty standards, racial identity, and the power of art to create immortality. Some scholars questioned whether the bust's perfection represented reality or idealization, though other images confirm her exceptional appearance was historical fact. Her beauty became symbol of ancient Egypt itself, appearing on countless books, documentaries, and tourist advertisements promoting Egyptian tourism and heritage. But focusing on her beauty obscures her real historical significance as one of ancient Egypt's most politically powerful queens ever. Modern research reveals she wielded unprecedented authority, participating in religious ceremonies, state affairs, and possibly military campaigns as kurula. She was not merely a beautiful consort but an active political figure who helped shape one of history's most radical religious transformations. The question of her disappearance and death continues fascinating archaeologists, with new theories emerging as technology allows deeper tomb exploration. Some believe her mummy may be one of the unidentified female mummies found in various royal caches, awaiting DNA confirmation. Others suggest her tomb may be a hidden chamber in Tutankhamun's tomb, based on ground-penetrating radar scans showing possible sealed doorways. The search for Nefertiti's tomb has become archaeology's holy grail, promising to reveal secrets about Amarna period's end and her fate. If found, her mummy could answer questions about her death, whether she ruled as pharaoh, and what happened during those mysterious years. Her disappearance represents one of archaeology's greatest unsolved mysteries, frustrating generations of Egyptologists seeking closure on her story and legacy. The lack of clear evidence allows multiple narratives: victim, rebel pharaoh, or simply a woman who outlived her usefulness to history. What is certain is that Nefertiti transformed queenship in ancient Egypt, establishing precedent for female power that later queens would follow. Her unprecedented depiction in royal art influenced how subsequent queens were portrayed, though none achieved her level of visual prominence again. She proved that women could exercise real religious and political authority in ancient Egypt when circumstances and royal favor aligned perfectly. Her 6 daughters married into royal and noble families, ensuring her bloodline continued even if her religious revolution failed completely. 2 daughters became queens, while others married high officials, spreading Nefertiti's genes throughout Egypt's ruling class for generations after her disappearance. Her legacy lived through these daughters and their descendants, even as her name was deliberately erased from official historical records. The attempt to erase her from history ultimately failed because beauty, once captured in art, becomes immortal beyond any pharaoh's power. The 1912 discovery of her bust ensured that Nefertiti would be remembered when pharaohs who tried erasing her were themselves forgotten. She became a symbol of feminine beauty, power, and mystery, transcending her historical context to become universal icon of ancient elegance. Her story reveals how women in ancient Egypt could achieve remarkable power, though that power remained dependent on male patronage. When Akhenaten's favor ended, whether through death or political change, Nefertiti's power vanished with it, showing women's vulnerability in power, yet she exercised that power more fully than almost any other ancient queen, setting standard that few successors could match. The contrast between her powerful life and mysterious disappearance makes her story endlessly fascinating to modern audiences seeking understanding of past. She represents both the possibilities and limitations of female power in ancient world, achieving heights few women reached, yet ultimately disappearing. Nefertiti's beauty made her unforgettable to artists who captured her face, but her power made her dangerous to those who tried. She challenged thousands of years of Egyptian tradition, helped overturn the old gods, and ruled with authority that threatened patriarchal norms. Her disappearance may have been erasure by those who feared what she represented, female power that needed no man to justify. Yet, paradoxically, her beauty ensured her immortality when her political legacy was deliberately destroyed by enemies and religious conservatives fearing change. The queen too beautiful to be forgotten became the queen too powerful to be remembered, her image surviving when her name was erased. Nefertiti remains ancient Egypt's most famous queen, her face recognized worldwide, while her tomb and mummy elude discovery still after millennia. She proved that beauty and power could coexist, that queens could rule as pharaohs, and that some mysteries endure forever beyond solving. The beautiful one came, transformed Egypt, disappeared, and became immortal, the ultimate triumph of art over attempted historical erasure and oblivion.